our lead story tonight. Well, it's now official, or it hasn't been announced yet, but the numbers are clear. Droupadi Murmu has crossed 50% of votes in the presidential election counted so far. She's the NDA presidential candidate. Our reporters tracking that story. You can see celebrations in Delhi led by the BJP and also in tribal areas because, of course, Droupadi Murmu will be India's first tribal president. Let's just look first at the importance and the implications of that.
Grand celebrations from Delhi to a small district in Orissa, Mayurbhanj, the president-elect's native village. Droupadi Murmu becomes the first tribal and a woman to be the youngest president of India. At 64 years of age, Droupadi Murmu's election is a masterstroke for the ruling BJP. At once an outreach to the tribal identity across India and also breaking the opposition ranks. The results showing Murmu won over 65% estimated votes means there was heavy cross-voting in her favour. Since a whip can't be issued for a presidential election, parties are in no position to take action against those who voted for Murmu. Droupadi Murmu has experience in holding constitutional authority. She has been a governor of Jharkhand, a two-time minister and a tribal leader who began her journey as a councillor. Her entry into Rashtrapati Bhavan will, however, carry greater significance. Murmu's election has dented opposition unity. The campaign for Yashwant Sinha was lackluster, and with parties like the JMM and the Thackeray-led Sena supporting her, it will have a fallout on the vice presidential elections and opposition unity as well. Parties like Trinamool Congress, the Samajwadi Party and the Aam Aadmi Party have already skipped the opposition meeting for the vice presidential election strategy. The BJP's tribal outreach will have an impact. States like Gujarat and Himachal Pradesh are going to the polls this year, and a sizable tribal vote bank is sprinkled pretty much across the country. And for Orissa, the state from where Droupadi Murmu hails, BJP also hopes to dent the BJD, the fortress that so far Naveen Patnaik has been holding. With Sanket Upadhyay in Delhi, Mahasiditi for NDTV. On the 25th of July, President Ram Nath Kovind will make way for India's first tribal president here behind me at the Rashtrapati Bhavan. As the governor of Jharkhand in the past, Droupadi Murmu twice refused to sign on a bill that would have transferred the land rights of tribals to the industry. She stood her ground and showed she is no rubber stamp, something that the opposition fears she could be even as president. But with the overwhelming support this time, she once again embarks on the journey to uphold the constitution of the country. With Sanket Upadhyay in Delhi, this is Mahasiditi for NDTV.
And let's go across live now to our reporters tracking that story and reports, Sunil, that the Prime Minister will soon be coming to congratulate Droupadi Murmu once it is announced officially. But Akshay Maha also joining me. Akshay, over to you, because the BJP in Delhi has already begun its celebrations, Akshay.
Well, in fact, the Delhi BJP started the celebration even before the formal announcement. In fact, when the name was officially announced and when the news came that Droupadi Murmu has in fact crossed the halfway mark, the rally had already reached here at Rajpath. And it is symbolic that when the rally reached here, at the exact moment it was announced that Droupadi Murmu in fact has become the 15th president of the country and in fact has written history by becoming the first tribal president of the country. आप लोग भारतीय जनता पार्टी से हैं, क्या लगता है इससे क्या बदलाव आएगा देश में द्रौपदी मुर्मू के राष्ट्रपति?
ये बहुत बड़े गौरव का विषय है, पूरे देश के लिए गौरवशाली क्षण है जिसमें हर आदिवासी इस देश का राष्ट्रपति बन सकता है। तो ये आने वाले भविष्य की एक नींव रखी गई है कि एक आदिवासी महिला जो कभी सोच भी नहीं सकते उस तबके के लोग जो अपने रिजर्वेशन की बात करते हैं, आज उनके राष्ट्रपति बनी है। तो बहुत बड़ी बात है, बहुत बड़ा बदलाव सोच में आने वाला है। देश के हर व्यक्ति जो चाय बनाने वाला देश का प्रधानमंत्री बन सकता है, आदिवासी समाज की प्रधानमंत्री राष्ट्रपति बन सकते हैं, हमारे किसान लोग भी आप उपराष्ट्रपति बन सकते हैं। तो ऐसा माहौल देश में हो गया है। हर गौरव
है कि चीजें बदलेंगी, जो आदिवासी लोग हैं उनके लिए चीजें बदलेंगी। अब
निश्चित रूप से बहुत बड़ा बदलाव आएगा और ये एक इतिहास बना है और बहुत बड़ा मैसेज दिया है मोदी जी ने पूरे विश्व को
मैसेज दिया है। So the government, present government has given a message to the entire world, is what the BJP supporters here are claiming. Now as the official announcement has been made, the BJP leaders and supporters who gathered here, who in fact walked from the Pandit Pant Marg till Rajpath, they have now started to disperse because traffic had to be stopped here on this particular road. BJP Delhi chief is here, Adesh Gupta ji. Earlier there were indications that JP Nadda will be coming as far as the celebrations are concerned, but he could not come here, he could not join this particular roadshow. But celebrations are on full swing as far as the election of Droupadi Murmu as the 15th
And I just want to go across now, Akshay, to Sunil, who's actually at Droupadi Murmu's residence now. The official announcement still awaited, though of course the numbers are now clear. But Sunil, over to you, because this is being called by some political observers as the BJP's political masterstroke, because they managed to get opposition leaders and parties like the Jharkhand Mukti Morcha, like Naveen Patnaik, BJD, of course, was expected to support, but depending on the candidate, and also the Uddhav Thackeray-led Shiv Sena. How is that playing out now? As we see, we've already just met with the Education Minister Dharmendra Pradhan, also from Odisha, who's talked about cross-voting that's happened in these elections. Yashwant Sinha also issued a statement conceding defeat.
That's right, Sonia. A lot of political developments. Just what Akshay was talking about, Mr. JP Nadda, he was a short while back the first to really come here and congratulate the president-elect. For them, it's a very important day. As you rightly pointed out, it's historic. The first tribal from the BJP of India to become the president of India for the BJP. It's a lot of significance. It's a masterstroke. As you pointed out, it was always a numbers issue, and the fact that the Prime Minister consulted Mr. Naveen Patnaik, she also belongs, she's the first person from Odisha to come here to become the President of India. Mr. Naveen Patnaik's support, and then subsequently the tribal party, the JMM, who's also in alliance with the Congress, supporting Murmu, and then of course Mr. Thackeray, Uddhav Thackeray's faction becoming fait accompli in taking that decision of going ahead and supporting Droupadi Murmu. As you rightly pointed out, there have been 17 members of parliament, though you and me or nobody will be able to say who exactly they are in terms of who cross-voted. But that is a clear indication, as was pointed out by Mr. Dharmendra Pradhan, that in the vice presidential elections, with the Trinamool Congress deciding to abstain now, it's clearly the stage is set for them to have both their candidates for the president and vice president
to come there soon, as we said it now. Maha, that point you were making as well. So Prime Minister Modi expected to come there also to congratulate President-elect Droupadi Murmu once the results are officially announced. But also that point you made in your report as well, that this is going to be used not just today as a presidential election win, but looking at how it will be used politically in upcoming state elections, and also in terms of the BJP as promoting the tribal communities.
Absolutely. If you look at the assembly elections that are going to be held later this year, for instance, if we take the example of Gujarat, it has a sizable tribal population as well, between 14 to 15%. So look at the kind of message that the BJP has sent out. Not that Gujarat is not a stronghold of the BJP, but just adding on to the numbers in any state becomes vital for any party. And that is the message that the BJP is sending out through this first the candidature, and then of course now she's crossed the 50% mark as far as the voting is concerned. Already the president. Another state, Himachal Pradesh, not a huge tribal population, but at least 5% there as well. Those two states going to the polls this year. Look at the state of Odisha itself, where Droupadi Murmu hails from. That is a state where the BJP has in the past been in par with the BJD. But that alliance broke, after which the BJP would want to dent the BJD in Odisha. And there again, the tribal population, the fact that she is from there and she becomes the first tribal president of the country, that messaging is certainly significant, although the assembly elections there are, of course, 2 years away. Jharkhand, that state again becomes important as far as the tribal population is concerned. And look at it politically otherwise as well, Sonia. In Maharashtra, Uddhav Thackeray, who's just been trumped by the BJP, and Eknath Shinde had to agree to his party members
in fact, I think
to vote for Droupadi Murmu and come out and say that publicly.
That's also a key underlying political point, that really rifts in the opposition exposed the presidential election, and they've actually split wide open for the vice presidential election. We'll have more details on that. But of course, the other big political story this morning, which was dominating all television channels, was that of the questioning of the Congress president, Sonia Gandhi, by the Enforcement Directorate. I mean, again, head of a major opposition party being questioned. So Congress workers, Congress MPs out in parliament with protests and on the streets. Sonia Gandhi, who's 75 years old and not keeping very good health, was accompanied by her daughter Priyanka. She's allowed in the ED office with medicines. Also, a doctor was on standby, says the ED. The Congress, however, maintains this is political vendetta to drag Sonia Gandhi in for questioning in a case which they say doesn't exist.
Sonia Gandhi going into the Enforcement Directorate office in Delhi at around noon and questioned for nearly 3 hours on her alleged role in the National Herald money laundering case. Accompanying her to the ED office, Rahul Gandhi and Priyanka Gandhi, who were allowed to stay inside the ED office since she was carrying Sonia Gandhi's medicines, etc.
Sonia Gandhi was questioned by Kuldeep Singh, the Assistant Director of the Enforcement Directorate, who is also the investigating officer of this case. Sources say Sonia Gandhi was grilled over the shareholding pattern in both the Young Indian Limited and also the Associated Journal Limited. Also, very importantly, the common directorship in both these companies. Though the questioning of day one was over within 2 or 30 minutes, sources say she has been further summoned for further questioning on Monday.
While the questioning continued, Congress protests intensified across the country. Delhi, Mumbai, Hyderabad, Lucknow, Patna, Jammu, Bangalore, Guwahati and Trivandrum. The protests started inside and outside Parliament, with placards being shown and slogans being shouted.
कांग्रेस के सांसद संसद भवन परिसर में एक मार्च निकाल रहे हैं। इससे पहले लोकसभा और राज्यसभा दोनों में विपक्षी सांसदों ने हंगामा किया है।
Congress leaders were also detained after a protest in North Delhi. A protester dragged on the ground by...
Well, let's go across to live shots now. Prime Minister Modi arriving to congratulate President-elect Droupadi Murmu. She will be India's first tribal president. She will be sworn in on Monday. She's also crossed 50% of votes so far. We're waiting for the official announcement, but with Yashwant Sinha conceding defeat, it's clear that Droupadi Murmu is India's next president, the first tribal to be President of India. There's Prime Minister Modi arriving to congratulate President Murmu-elect. See their shots earlier of celebrations at Droupadi Murmu's residence in Delhi. Droupadi Murmu there, we can see Prime Minister Modi walking in with the BJP President JP Nadda to congratulate Ms. Droupadi Murmu. The choice of her as the NDA presidential candidate really did, in a sense, erode the opposition campaign. They had nominated Yashwant Sinha, but it's clear with the numbers that there's cross-voting and that many MPs did break rank to vote for Droupadi Murmu. So there we have it, the first visuals coming in of India's next president after she's crossed the halfway mark in voting. Prime Minister Modi, the first to congratulate her at her residence in New Delhi. She comes, of course, from a village in Orissa. She was the first woman to actually be a college graduate from her village in Orissa.
With Sunil Prabhu and Arvind Gunasekar, Usama Shah for NDTV.
President Droupadi Murmu, President-elect, and BJP President JP Nadda, the first people to congratulate her after she crossed the halfway mark. Now, as we've been reporting that this next president has many firsts to her credit. She's the first tribal to become president of India. She's also the first person from Orissa and only the second woman to be president. Also, 64-year-old Droupadi Murmu is the youngest president of India. For the opposition who's criticized her that she may be a rubber stamp, the BJP and the NDA says that her past record shows that she isn't. As governor of Jharkhand, she refused to sign on a bill which she said was against the rights of tribals and has good relations with the JMM and the Chief Minister of Jharkhand as well. And the JMM again broke with the opposition ranks to support her in this presidential election. There we have it, the NDA, clear victory there for Droupadi Murmu and backed by many parties which are not part of the NDA as well, including key opposition parties. This comes, of course, as a major political blow for the opposition on a day when another key opposition leader, West Bengal Chief Minister Mamata Banerjee, said that she would not be supporting the opposition candidate, the Congress's Margaret Alva. This despite the fact that the NDA candidate, Jagdeep Dhankar, is a known rival of Mamata Banerjee. They've had many clashes when he was West Bengal governor, but Mamata Banerjee said her party will abstain because they were not consulted by the opposition on the choice of Margaret Alva. This comes on a day that Mamata Banerjee had a massive show of strength with a political rally in Kolkata where the TMC says lakhs attended, where she attacked the BJP.
বলছে এরপর মুম্বাই ভেঙেছি এরপর হরিয়ানা ভাঙবো इसका बाद छत्तीसगढ़ तोड़ेंगे इसको बाद बांग्ला भी तोड़ेंगे हम बोला बांग्ला को क्रॉस मत करो इधर में रॉयल बंगाल टाइगर जो है ना वो बहुत बढ़िया है.
Mamata Banerjee at a show of strength in Kolkata, not only firing a warning shot to the BJP-led centre, but also the Congress-led opposition, making it known that she cannot be taken for granted. The Trinamool announced it will abstain from voting in the vice president elections, saying most of their 35 MPs objected to the way Margaret Alva's name was chosen.
Trinamool Congress will abstain in the upcoming vice presidential polls. It is neither question of supporting NDA candidate doesn't even arise. We have decided unanimously to abstain from the voting process.
It's a huge blow to opposition unity, particularly after the split in its ranks in the presidential election, with parties like the Jharkhand Mukti Morcha and the Shiv Sena's Uddhav faction, both Congress allies, supporting the ruling NDA's candidate, Droupadi Murmu.
And I'm sure when the time comes, all opposition parties will realize that they have to stick together to make a formidable contest.
But Dhankar, as Bengal's governor, has had a very tense and hostile relationship with Chief Minister Mamata Banerjee. But a few days ago, he's believed to have sought her support. The TMC says it can ideologically differ with opposition parties as well without diluting its anti-BJP stand. And on a day India elected its first tribal president, Mamata Banerjee targeting the BJP for what she calls mere symbolism.
কখনো ট্রাইবেল কার্ড খেলছে অথচ সারি ধর্ম আর সারনা ধর্ম নিয়ে বারবার বলছি ট্রাইবেলদের অধিকার দাও কিছুতেই দিচ্ছে না আমরা ক্যাবিনেটে পাস করেছি এটা দিতে হবে.
The 21st of July rally, a huge event for the Trinamool Congress, took place after a gap of nearly 3 years, and Mamata Banerjee made it clear she hasn't lost the appetite for a political fight, pitching her party as a formidable opponent to the BJP, even as the Trinamool Congress chose not to vote for the opposition candidate in the vice president elections. With camera person GD Shankar in Kolkata, Saurabh Gupta, NDTV.
Well, a very important hearing on hate speech today in the Supreme Court. But let's just first go across those pictures we're seeing of Prime Minister Modi meeting with President-elect Droupadi Murmu there and BJP President JP Nadda. We'll just go across to our other reporters. And but as we've been saying that this is really a huge political development which has just taken place. the fact that it was known that she was likely to win because the numbers were clearly in her favor, but the symbolic value and the political value of this choice is actually a crucial one, because she is representing the tribal community across India, the community which have traditionally been left out of the fruits of, been left out of development. They're amongst the lowest in development indices. So the fact that somebody who is from the tribal community has made it to becoming India's first citizen is hugely symbolic, and also important politically, because the BJP has faced charges of politically neglecting this community. So again, with the many tribal communities across India in different states, this is a very, very important political move. And there we can see the latest numbers. 53.18% of votes so far, remember the voting's not over yet, have gone to Droupadi Murmu. Yashwant Sinha far behind, he's conceded defeat. Also, there's been cross-voting from different states. It's not clear yet. I mean, which MPs, we're likely not to ever know which MPs actually cross-voted. But the fact is that there has been cross-voting in her favor even after the split in opposition ranks, with many opposition parties deciding to vote for Droupadi Murmu. So those really are the visuals we can see on our screen right now. Let's just go across the celebrations also, as Droupadi Murmu has been chosen India's next president. Sunil, so the Prime Minister currently meeting with President-elect Droupadi Murmu. Now, the opposition, Yashwant Sinha's tweet has said that I hope she will be custodian of our constitution. The opposition has implied in the past that she will be a rubber stamp president. But given the fact that, interestingly, the NDA has chosen ex-governors both for their presidential candidate and for the vice presidential candidate, these are people who are well versed in the constitution. What do we see Droupadi Murmu's presidency to be like, given her past experience both as MLA, minister and governor?
Well, with all regards and all background checks that we have been able to find out, she is definitely a textbook president. She will definitely live up to those expectations. Even as a Jharkhand governor, we are told she played a critical role. She did become certain bills. She did play a good constitutional position. As you know, Sonia, the President of India is the head not only of the executive but also of Parliament.
Not only of the executive but also of Parliament, and it's in that backdrop that she will play that critical role. The judiciary, she swears in the Chief Justice, but it is independent. But the fact of the matter is that the President of India, even though it is de facto rule, is with the Prime Minister. The President of India, as we've seen in previous occasions, be it President Pranab Mukherjee, President K.R. Narayanan, President Kalam, they've all played critical and important roles in terms of legislation.
Will be a textbook president, will set up the best example, and she, of course, is India's first tribal, first from Odisha, and the second woman to be seated and will be there at Rashtrapati Bhavan.
Sorry, I think the audio is bad. Clearly, there are lots of crowd and the bandwidth is going to be an issue there right now as everybody's crowding there. But as we can see, really, those celebrations happening earlier in the day and across India, there seems to be a sense of genuine enthusiasm for the 15th president of India coming in. It's seen as a symbolic gesture which has huge political implications as well. We'll just look at those celebrations and of course look at the latest numbers and the political implications. Let's just look now at those celebrations coming in first.